What happens when Elon Musk and a team of young techies took control of America's most trusted safety net? You're about to find out. This video is going to take you inside the unbelievable, but 100% real, story of how Elon Musk, through a team called DOGE, helped turn the Social Security Administration into a political pawn. We're talking about a billionaire accusing 40% of calls to Social Security of being scams, a 21-year-old intern given access to sensitive personal data, and a government agency losing thousands of its staff members almost overnight. Yeah, this is not hypothetical. This is actually happening. Stick around, because what you'll hear next includes secret memos, takeovers of America's most closely guarded secrets, and a whole lot of confusion for millions of Americans. Let's go back to February 2025. Elon Musk, now working closely with President Trump's administration, launches a public attack on Social Security. On social media, he claims that 40% of all calls to the agency are from scammers. That's a huge number, and also completely false. Social Security employees knew it, journalists knew it, but Musk's followers didn't. And neither did the team he had assembled at DOGE, a new task force full of tech bros, political rookies, and even a 21-year-old Palantir intern named Akash Baba. They weren't just sharing theories online. They were being given real power, real access, and they were about to cause real damage. It all started with a misunderstanding. Musk's team got hold of Treasury data, payments going out from the federal government, and noticed something strange. Some payments were going to people without Social Security numbers. Some went to people who appeared to be dead. Now, to experienced agency workers, this data wasn't alarming. Payments to non-numbered individuals often involve newborns or certain non-citizens. And yes, dead people do show up in the system, but not because they're getting checks. They're just not always properly flagged in old databases. It's bad record keeping, not fraud. But DOGE didn't want explanations. They wanted action, so they moved fast. They pressured Social Security to give young Akash Baba access to the entire national database: names, birth dates, benefit amounts, citizenship status, everything. Agency leaders said no. He wasn't trained. He didn't understand how to protect that kind of data. That didn't stop DOGE. They found a willing partner in Bill Dudek, a mid-level anti-fraud staffer who had once bragged about receiving a letter from Joe Biden. Now, Dudek saw a chance to become a big player. He bypassed normal channels, pushed for DOGE's access, and told coworkers that not following orders from Musk and the White House could destroy the agency. Eventually, Dudek was suspended. Then just 2 days later, with stunning speed, he was made acting commissioner of Social Security. Elon Musk cheered him on. "There are good people in the government," he posted. But behind the scenes, chaos was brewing. Staff were overwhelmed. DOGE forced through a hiring of the young intern, pushed out nearly half of the agency's senior leaders, and even demanded canceling Social Security contracts in Maine, just because Maine's Democratic governor criticized President Trump. That's right, vital contracts that helped babies get Social Security numbers in hospitals were canceled for political revenge. Meanwhile, the agency's day-to-day work was falling apart. Phone lines were jammed, lines at field offices stretched out the door. People were scared. Why? Because rumors, fueled by Musk's tweets, suggested their benefits might stop. Many retirees even started claiming benefits early, even though it meant losing future money, just for peace of mind. To fill staffing gaps, Social Security pulled lawyers, tech experts, and HR people into customer service jobs. Many didn't want to go, but felt forced to. It was either switch roles or risk getting fired. DOGE's biggest obsession was dead people. After Musk claimed that millions of dead people were being paid, even joking about vampires and Twilight, the agency was ordered to mark anyone older than 120 as deceased. Never mind that the system already blocks payments to people over 115. The data Musk used, it was real, but misunderstood. Even the intern who made the chart knew Musk's post was wrong. But the myth of payments to the dead caught fire. Trump used it in a nationally televised speech, claiming 3.5 million people, aged 140 to 149, were on the rolls. That was false. An internal memo later admitted this project wouldn't even stop fraud, but could maybe help other agencies clean their records. So, basically, it was all for show. Back inside the agency, D.O.G.E went full DOGE. He signed off on massive layoffs, 12% of the workforce gone. He agreed to share Social Security data with immigration enforcement. He canceled contracts, then uncanceled them. He even started live streaming weekly meetings on YouTube until the White House told him to stop. The public was getting nervous, and so were the courts. A federal judge eventually ordered DOGE to stop accessing private Social Security databases. But D.O.G.E had already given access to at least 6 DOGE members, including Baba, and when the court ruling came down, DOGE leaders suggested they just ignore it. But the damage wasn't over. DOGE's original claim that 40% of all calls were scams turned out to be a total misreading of a much smaller statistic. Only about 66,000 cases a year involved phone fraud. That's out of 80 million total calls. Still, D.O.G.E used the fake narrative to push through another policy. Americans could no longer change their banking information by phone. That meant about 4 million people would need to go to already understaffed offices just to update their direct deposit. It was a nightmare. Seniors stood in line for hours. Many believed their payments would stop if they didn't show up. The agency eventually walked the policy back, but not before panic set in. In one especially sad moment, D.O.G.E himself visited a field office in Milwaukee. He saw a woman leaving and asked if they had helped her. "Not at all," she replied. He apologized as she drove away. So here's the bigger issue. What happens when people with power don't understand how government works, but are given the keys anyway? What happens when politics, paranoia, and a hunger for control mix with billionaires playing bureaucrat? Social Security is supposed to be boring, predictable, reliable. It's the one program millions of Americans trust. And overnight, D.O.G.E turned it into a circus. D.O.G.E's story is especially strange. Once a Democrat who admired Biden, he became the face of Trump's agenda. He compared himself to Oskar Schindler, the man who saved Jews during the Holocaust, and said he was just trying to protect the agency. But staff didn't see it that way. They saw a man pushing out veterans, ignoring expert advice, and cozying up to Elon Musk's tweets. One staffer described his behavior as bullying. D.O.G.E even admitted he had bypassed normal procedures and shared executive contact info without permission. All the while, Musk, from the sidelines, kept stoking the fire. He called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. He mocked people older than 120. He claimed fraud where there wasn't any. And yet, his team claimed they saved Social Security by identifying $1 billion in savings. Where's the proof? The White House never explained. By May, D.O.G.E was gone. In came Frank Bisignano, a former Wall Street exec, who told the press, "We're going to be a fact-based, rule-based organization that can count." But in the same breath, he also said DOGE's work was 100% accurate. Make of that what you will. Here's the moment it all became clear. When court orders, public panic, and internal chaos forced Social Security to pull back from the edge. When people realized this wasn't about fixing fraud, it was about flexing power. D.O.G.E wasn't trying to protect Social Security. They were trying to control it, and millions of Americans, especially seniors and people with disabilities, were the ones who got caught in the crossfire. The story of DOGE and Social Security isn't just about one agency. It's about what happens when loud voices drown out smart ones, when power is handed to the unprepared, when facts lose to feelings. Social Security is still standing, checks are still going out. But the trust? That might take a lot longer to fix. Want to know what DOGE is doing next? Subscribe and watch the next video to find out.